This is the recorder that we have available to you. It's the ZoomH5. Let me just quickly switch over to the real version. So this is the actual, or one of the kits. We have 6 of these available. So 6 of you could be checking this out at the same time. And so this is the actual the Zoom recorder. So so I'm going to go over this in a second. Just to point out to you, these come with, well, there's a little remote control. There's just an extension. There's a USB connector here. This is a charger, so you can charge it if you want. It comes with batteries, and then it also has a dead cat wind filter, which I want to just specifically discuss this. Since a lot of you may be recording outside, having a wind filter is crucial. The stereo mic here is extremely sensitive to wind, and if you have even the slightest bit of wind outside, it's going to totally contaminate your recording, and you'll get this deep, low sound from just the tiniest bit of wind. So the idea would be that you can put on this filter, and this is a special, the most effective type of wind filter. It's sometimes referred to as a dead cat, so it looks like it's an animal on there. So the animal fur is a very effective form of wind filter. So it will totally eliminate even the most fairly strong wind there. Will be effectively reduced. So I strongly recommend, if you're recording outside, that you would put this filter on it. Now we also have a second type of wind filter that goes with these, and this is the foam filter. This is not automatically included with the kits. And this one is particularly useful if you really want to use a pop filter. So if you're going to record yourself, and you want to have a pop filter, this one will work as a pop filter. So you can, and that's one of the reasons we include this in here. So you can put that on there, and it will serve effectively as a pop filter if I'm trying to talk into the microphone. If you try to just record your voice with just this, these are so sensitive that you're going to get fairly severe pops. So you really can't try to talk directly into these mics. If you turn off to the side or something, so you're not speaking directly into it, you might be able to avoid that. Or you can check out this the foam filter, and that will effectively eliminate pops. But this is where some sort of a pop filter or a wind filter, this thing will work as a light wind reduction. If you have light wind outside, it will reduce that. But any kind of heavy wind is going to need the dead cat. So the other thing that I strongly recommend that you should have is headphones. Now, most of you are supposed to have your own headphones, so you don't need to check them out. They do not automatically come with the kit. So, but you should be listening and monitoring your recordings before you actually do it, and you'll be able to hear if you're picking up the wind sound or pops in the filter by doing that. But if you don't have headphones, you're not going to be able to hear. The other thing I think we've mentioned before is you want to be very aware of your internal space noises and sounds. So, for example, right now there's air conditioning and the sound of the projector going in this room, and that would be picked up very strongly by the recorder. So that's why you may not be aware of it if you're just listening, but if you put the headphones on, you'll hear very prominently any sounds like that, which really we don't want. We You know, so if I was going to do good quality sound recording, I'd want to shut that projector off, and I'd want to shut my air conditioning off, and so eliminate any of those buzzes and hums that you're going to pick up in your interior space. So you got to be very much aware of that when you're doing recordings, unless you want, you know, if you're trying to create that as your background ambient sound, and there's a certain sound in a space that you might want to pick up. Let's go over the actual usage of the H5. So there is a disk, an SD card that goes with it, and so you want to double check that that SD card is there, or if you want to use your own SD card, you can. These use SD cards from 4 to 32 gigabytes, and I believe the one that we have in here is an 8 gigabyte. And for audio recording, that will give you several hours, I believe, of recording in a WAV file. So I don't remember the X amount. So just before you power it up, you want to look in there and make sure that the SD card is there. If not, then you're going to have to put one in. But we do try to keep one in there, and there's a possibility that somebody might not have forgotten to return it, and if somebody didn't check it, then it may not be there. So so that's step number one. The next step is to power up the recorder, and so on the side there's a little button. You just have to hold it down, and that's going to power it up. And then you want to check the battery level. If for some reason battery level is not good, you can request batteries from here. Otherwise, you could get your own batteries if you need it. You know, if it's a full battery indicated on here, then you should be good for several hours of recording. So the next step would be we need to format the SD card, and this is fairly important because if you do not format the card, then the odds are you're going to have recordings from previous students, and that's going to make it really difficult for you to find your own material, because it's going to be mixed in with the other files from previously. So we always want to start with a clean recording. Now, there is a menu system here that we access. So you're basically going to click on the menu button here, and then you're going to press in, this is the control to select, or you're going to move up or down to move through the menus. So so when you come in, you'll see on the screen, when you press the menu key, the menus will come up. Then you're going to scroll down to the SD card menu, and then when you're there, you're going to click on format in order to format that card. When you click on that format, it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to format the card? And it's asking you to be sure, because you don't want to format it if you've already recorded on there, because anything that once you format is going to be totally erase everything on your card. So so that's why you want to make sure, yes, I haven't recorded anything yet myself, so I want to format it. And so that's and then certainly when you're done with the card, and you want to transfer, you know, after you've transferred your material onto a computer, then you may want to format it if you don't want anyone else to possibly hear what you've recorded. Although typically our recommendation is to not format it when you're done, to leave it on there, and that actually serves as a little backup. So if for some reason you have forgotten to transfer your footage, or maybe you somehow lost it, then it's possible you might be able to go back and re-find this card, and your stuff might be there if nobody else has used that recorder. So usually if it's within a few days or so, you might be able to use it. So so that would be something to keep in mind. The second thing would be to in the menu system, you're going to select the record format. The H5 has two options. You can record directly into the compressed format, MP3, or you record in a WAV file. Okay, so we always want to record in the highest quality, and we always prefer to record in an uncompressed format. So we typically want to make sure that we're set for wave, and then we have the sample rate and the bit depth are both options, and standard recording would be 44.1 kilohertz at 16-bit. And usually for audio recording of sounds and things like that, voice, that's going to be good enough. Although if you are recording for film or broadcast media, they always record in 48 kilohertz, and so that's would be the preference for media. So if you're recording, if you're doing a sound recording and you want to link this to high definition video, or you were doing film soundtrack recording or something like that, then you're always going to record in 48 kilohertz. And the same thing, you have an option if you're recording, if you want the highest quality recording, and you're doing a very high quality project, then I would say go ahead and record in 24-bit. That's going to create much larger files, but 44.1 and 16-bit is really going to be plenty of quality. All right, I'm going to press the menu button, and record mode. Okay, so I'm going to press that down. There it is, the multi-file or stereo file. So I want to record. If I normally want to have this set to stereo file, and now when I record, it will save it in the stereo file folder. So once again, I'm pressing on the menu on the side. There's the record menu, so I can press that for my record format, and those are the various choices. You know, so I've got my 44.1 as the first choice. I can come down here and I've got 24-bit or whatnot. One thing I'll just mention, which is not in my guidelines, sorry, come on, there we go. I just got to get in the middle or something like that. I do have some filters here that could possibly be useful, and I want to particularly mention the low-cut filter. This is particularly valuable for if you're in a space where it does have an air conditioner and you can't turn that air conditioner off. A low-cut filter is designed to cut out low rumble sounds like air conditioners and things like that. So that could be something that might be recommended, and particularly if you got the stereo mic, then I could set it on low cut, and I can actually indicate here how low do I want to cut off, you know, and so it's by kilohertz, and this is where you got to learn a little bit about that, but you know I would say anything below 115 hertz is not going to affect the quality of your recording, but it could improve by cutting out some of those low rumbles of air conditioners and things like that. So that's something that you might want to be aware of. This has other things. It does have a little built-in compressor limiter. This is where we turn on phantom power if we're doing an external microphone that has a condenser. So there's a few features that these things have. But let's just go back to the basic operation. So we're kind of following through on that. Once we set our record format. Now the way this works is I have two options for the microphones. The built-in stereo mic uses the left-right here. So if I select the left-right LR, then I'm going to be recording from the stereo microphones on top here. If I want to plug something in, and at the bottom I have the capability of plugging in two external microphones, and so if I'm using those, then those are channels 1 and 2. So I would select 1 and 2. Now if I'm not using external microphones, then I want to turn those off. I just turn both of those off there. So now the other thing that I want to just point out here is that we have two different controls for our for recording. One is that the the stereo mic has its own preamp on the mic itself, and that's what this little control is right here. So I want to make sure that I turn that up, and generally speaking, it's 70%, and so that would be, usually they're always on a scale of 10. The idea is that they're kind of built to start at 7 as your standard. So I would certainly recommend that you turn up, and you're just going to adjust this here at a starting level of around 7. You know, that's 70%. Let's see where it is, and it really depends on what kind of sound you have. If you've got a background ambient sound, you might need to boost it up a little bit. If you're talking, if you got a loud mouth like me talking into the microphone, then you're gonna go way over probably, and you might need to turn the levels down. So, and this is also where you're gonna listen in your headphones to hear what it sounds like. So if I'm talking now, so I'm at 7 for both, and I'm talking very loudly. Probably normally I wouldn't be talking quite that loud, and you can see, and also depends on how close I'm holding it. Once again, the target is -12 dB on our VU meter. So that's our target for peaks. And once again, you can see the peak. Those are the little dots. They stay there and they let you know, okay, what are your peaks going to? So, and so this is where I can now adjust my levels. Once you've adjusted your level, then you're ready to go, and you're just gonna press the record button, and you are now recording, and you can tell you're recording based on the counter. The counter will be moving, so I am now recording, and the record light is on down here, and so now I have 2 choices in order to stop this. I can press the pause button, and I will pause my recording, and then it'll notice that the red light is flashing. Or I can press the stop button. So what's the difference? There is a difference whether I use pause or whether I use stop. The difference is, and it's sort of important to pay attention to that, if I use the pause button and then I press the pause button again, I will release it, I will be recording on the same file. So that means that file will pause, and then I will resume recording on that file. So if I've got the same thing that I'm recording and I just want to pause for a second, then typically I would be pressing the pause in order to stop that recording and then resume it. When I press the stop button, I am stopping the file. And then when I press and I have to press record again, and I'm starting a new file. So this is actually significant because, you know, typically anytime you're recording any new sound or anything, I would always recommend that you press the stop button, and then you press the record button again to start a new file. So that way all of your different sounds are going to have different files, and it'll make it a lot easier for you to do the editing and working with those files, rather than if you have everything on one file. So if it's the same type of sound and you're just pausing for a second, then okay, then use the pause. Otherwise, use the stop button in order to stop that file and then create a new file. All right, and that's really basically all there is to recording. Once I've recorded something, then I just have to press the play button to go, and you're just gonna press the record button, and you are now recording. And you can hear my recording based on yeah, so the stereo mic will automatically record it in the stereo folder. If you're using the external inputs, the 1 and 2, I believe that goes in the multi folder. So that's why what I'm typically recommending is to use the stereo, in which case your files will be located in the stereo. So typically what you're going to do is you turn the power off when you're done, and then you're at a computer. You're going to take out the SD card, and you're going to pop that into your computer's SD card slot, which most computers typically come with an SD card slot. You just have to figure out where it is. On the Mac computers, it's on the back of the Mac. Yeah, these do not automatically come with a converter, but we do have some available. For some reason, you have a device that does not have an SD card slot. So so anyway, you're going to pop that out. You just pop it in, and it should crop up here. And then, you know, the quick and easy thing would be to just transfer the stereo file here. If you want to double click on it, you can go in and find the folder that would typically be the first folder that would have all your files. And then you can just copy that to your desktop, and then you basically copied it, and then you want to put it wherever you're gonna keep it.